Again, my name is Ashley Bass, and I'm a new senior product manager here at JADE. As you can tell from my accent, I am not from New Zealand. I've been in the country for about 9 months. So over drinks later, you can ask me what it's like to move across the world with teenage children. And I'll give you maybe some tips and tricks, which involve Fortnite and FIFA and online game playing, apparently. So that's one of the things that I have learned about moving is that technology is quite amazing for keeping, it's better than pen pals, I think, even. And so I've been with Jade for just a few weeks. I'm really excited to be here today to talk with you about the roadmap and a little bit also about what has happened in more recent releases. So specifically, I'll talk a bit about Jade 2018 as well. And then I'll be joined by John and Hugh and John to help answer any questions that you have. But this is a great opportunity for me and all of the team to hear from you about what you'd like to see in JADE going forward and what some of your initiatives are that we can help support. So you've probably seen this slide before or something like it. This is the original statement of JADE's vision from way back when in the Sir Gil Simpson days. And our vision has always been to help simplify the way computers are programmed and to make it easy for our customers like you to use technology to run your businesses and respond to your customers. But in the more recent past, we've really extended this vision and will continue to retain this extension into the future. So we're also now placing extra emphasis on ensuring that JADE provides the most effective way for our customers to meet evolving needs. So what that really means is that going forward, we'll continue to modernize JADE. We'll continue to focus on the opportunities to leverage human interfaces and the connections that they allow. So we saw a great example of that with our chatbot demo. We've had some great questions around data visualization and different ways to use JADE within your existing technology stacks as you move forward. But we'll also continue to retain a focus on a stable, secure, and highly performant system, which we know is really important to everyone in the room. So since 2015, in case you weren't aware, JADE has released 3 new versions of JADE. So 2015 we had 7.1, and the most recent version in that product line or version line is 7.1.09. So something important to note is that if you are on a 7.1, support for that version will end in February 2020 per our 5-year support policy, so something to be thinking about. And then JADE 2016 was released in December of 2016. We had a service pack in April of 2017. And JADE 2018 was just released in December of last year, so it's only been out for a few months. We don't currently have a plan to release a service pack, but we'll communicate if we do. And then going forward, we plan to release JADE 2020 in, guess what year? 2020. So because JADE 2018 just shipped, we're really in the early stages of planning for JADE 2020. I'm going to talk a bit today about what we are already thinking about, some of the decisions that we've made, but this is a really great early opportunity to hear from you on what's important and what you need. So as we move forward, there are several broad areas of investment that we have kind of worked within in recent releases, and will continue to invest in these same broad areas going forward. So the first of these is something that we call openness. This is really about making it easier to integrate JADE with your entire tech stack, so you can extend the ways that you use JADE in combination with other technologies that you use in your business. The second is user experience. So a big focus from us on giving you more options to create great experiences for end users, whether that's using the JADE platform directly or integrating with something outside of JADE. And then we also think a lot about how a good user experience can help make a big difference to JADE developers when they're working in JADE, and how that can help them be more productive and efficient. So that leads us to the third area of investment, which is developer productivity. And that's pretty self-explanatory, something we'll continue to focus a lot on. We want to add features that enable developers to be more efficient, more productive, so that you can have a greater return on your investment in JADE and meet more of your business goals. We're also focusing on improvements to deployment and operations. So really just making it easier to deploy and manage Jade, whether that's in the cloud or on premises. And, of course, really important for us to ensure that you have a performant and reliable system and that we meet the stringent security requirements that you have. And last but not least, we will continue to review your feature requests. So a lot of the feature requests we get are big, many of them are smaller, and we review those on a continuous basis through forums such as JEDI and Parsis and the various ways that we communicate with you. So before we get, sorry, this lectern's a little wobbly. Before we get into the future roadmap, we'll spend a few minutes on JADE 2018. So I have a question. How many in the room are already using JADE 2018? Anyone? Nice. Okay. Good handful of people. Anyone planning to upgrade soon or in the testing process? Anyone still using 7.1? Anyone using anything older than that? Okay. All right, so just a reminder, public service announcement, that we really want you to learn from this presentation, start thinking about upgrading, make sure you give us feedback on how your upgrade experience is going, let us know if you need help, and of course, throughout the rest of the day, let us know what kinds of questions you have about 2018 and 2020. So 2018 had a really long list of features. What I'll do is just cover a few of the highlights in my presentation today. There's lots of information out there about what's available. So we'll stick with our various themes and areas of investment. The first one is openness. So again, more than one feature here, but just hitting on some highlights. In JADE 2018, we did a lot to ensure that you can integrate Jade with other technologies, including adding support for the new WebSocket protocol to facilitate real-time data transfer between your Jade servers and web clients. In the user experience category, a bunch of enhancements to the Jade skins that we introduced in 2016, including new text box control properties. And you can also now customize the layout of hierarchy browser forms. So that's really user experience enhancement for Jade developers that was a direct request from some customers. And, sorry, let me just make sure my clicker is working here. Working? Okay. All right, and then also in the category of developer productivity, we support a new extended create instruction that allows parameters to be declared on the create method, which enables you to create and initialize an object in a single step. We've added documentation to help you use an automated test code generator, which we'll talk a little bit more about later in the presentation. And we've also updated the Jade editor to perform error analysis on the method definition as you modify the method. So that makes you aware of issues before you compile. In the deployment operations area, in JADE 2018, we implemented a new root schema application called Jade Schema Loader, which is a non-GUI application that can be used to load schemas in single-user app servers. We've also done work to provide, get ready, this is a long, crazy sentence, SDS, secondary, commit-consistent, coherent backup mechanism, which is a lot of words that really mean that it's more reliable for you to do backups from your secondaries than it was in previous versions of Jade. Right. On the performance side, the process class now provides new methods that enable you to get and send the method cache statistics of the executing process. So this is really about giving you useful diagnostics for answering performance queries. And the string primitive type now provides the replace and replace from methods. And this was a very highly rated JEDI request directly from customers, which was really all about developer efficiency and better performance. And in the security department, we've added more capability to extend your audit. So this is the ability to identify OIDs added to and removed from a collection block update record. And one of the things that we spent a lot of time and effort on in JADE 2018 was source control. right? So this was something that we heard from customers was really important. You told us that Jade could be improved with a new and modern take on source control, and specifically that you wanted us to consider ways to use industry-accepted tools and ideas. So one of the things that we did in the source control area to improve source control in Jade in 2018 was to give you the ability to extract and load form and data definition files in XML rather in the DDX format rather than previously only available DDB. But even more significantly, we worked to integrate Jade into existing development workflows and tools. So in Jade 2018, there's a new built-in Git client, source control in the Jade IDE. So you can use this to store and retrieve files that are already extracted from the Jade development environment to and from a Git repository. So this is cloning, staging, committing, pushing, pulling, and checking out operations, which can all be accessed from the Jade development environment menu commands. And a Git source client control submenu has commands that enable you to configure your source control client, clone the remote repository, stage and commit source changes, and push and pull from the repository. So I know we've had a few requests for a deeper dive on this, which we won't be doing here, but I've got a question for you in just a minute about that. So the other thing to make sure that you're aware of is that the features that I just talked about represent about a dozen new capabilities in Jade 2018 that came directly from customer requests. In addition to that, there were about 20 more feature requests that we addressed in 2018. So this is a view from the JEDI interface showing the features and requests that have been released in 2018. So overall, that's about 32 directly requested new capabilities or feature enhancements that are available to you in Jade 2018. Of course, that's all documented outside of JEDI, inside of JEDI. You can go and get that information whenever you're ready if you haven't looked at that. So another call to action here. Just make sure that you are asking questions, letting us know if you're getting blocked. We've worked to make upgrades simpler and easier, but of course we're here to support you if you need anything. And as always, you'll find information about the latest version of Jade on the website and in the product documentation. So one question that I have that we wanted to poll the group on today, for Jade 2018, we have not yet done a transfer of information. So first of all, who knows what a transfer of information is? Okay. I mean, in the Jade context, who knows what a transfer of information is? And so the poll is, from this group, we'd love to know whether you're interested in having a TOI for Jade 2018, whether those have been useful for you in the past, and if you'd like to see more. So just a quick show of hands, and you can give us more feedback outside of this. Who would like a TOI for Jade 2018? Okay, so that's about half the room. If you did request it, please let us know what we can do to make that as useful as possible, or if you have feedback on why it's not useful or anything else, just let us know throughout the rest of the day. Okay. So moving on to Jade 2020, one of the things I mentioned in the beginning was that we're in really pretty early stages of planning for 2020. There has been some work started. There's been a lot of thinking about what should be in the next release, but since 2018 came out so recently, still pretty early days, so a great opportunity for you all to give us feedback and let us know what is most important for you. One of the ways you can do that, of course, is to vote on the JEDI forum. So please make sure you're adding your ideas there, voting, adding commentary. That'll really help us pick the right things and understand your use cases. But with Jade 2020, we will continue to invest in these same broad areas of openness, user experience, developer productivity, deployment and operations, performance, security, and of course, addressing those smaller feature requests that you're submitting to us. So we'll start with feature requests. This is a quick set of statistics about where we are. So currently we have a list of about 52 feature requests that have been approved for development. So that means those are candidates for Jade 2020. You can go and see what they are, vote on them, comment on them. We also have a lot of additional requests from you that are pending evaluation or decision. So about, when we counted last week, about 75 ideas ready for evaluation, 61 pending a decision. So the team will be working their way through this list of feature requests. We'll look at votes, we'll look at overall effort, overall value across the customer base to make those decisions. So please make sure that you are giving us your votes in that forum. Now we have already started working on 8 feature requests for JADE 2020. I know you won't be able to see these very well, but if you're interested in knowing what's already being implemented, then of course you can hop into the JEDI UI or the forum and see what's going on. So in the area of openness, we'll continue to invest in integration and interoperability with other systems and technologies that you have alongside JADE. So one area that we know that we will be working on is extending the REST interface. This is primarily to address needs that we've heard from you around initiatives like independent microservices and mobile support. So again, not a lot of detail to share today, but definitely an area that we'll be focusing on. So please make sure you're giving us as much useful information about what you're working on and how these extensions to the REST interface can serve you. In the deployment and operations area, we know that we will continue to focus on source control. So we're calling the next phase of source control phase 2. So we want to give you more options to easily incorporate your JADE source into your development workflows. And in this case, we really are looking for feedback from you to help decide, what's working, what's going to add the most value next. We do also plan to provide a web-based installer, and we are investigating a number of additional features that will improve the interoperability and scalability of JADE systems that are running in cloud environments. So AWS and Azure, maybe Google Cloud Platform. So again, we'd love to know from you, what are you using? What are your cloud initiatives? We know that JADE systems are increasingly being deployed in public cloud environments, and we want to make that as easy as possible for you to manage. The list of potential features for developer productivity is really long. There's lots of feature requests around this. And we really know that we can make developers more productive in a number of ways. So there are improvements to the IDE that we can make. We can give you features that make it easier for you to do the things that you're already doing. Tools for logging and diagnostics that make your life easier. And one of the things that we think about a lot as well is how do we make it easier for developers to transition from non-JADE platforms into working in JADE. So we've already decided that it's important to consider extensions to the interface implementation. And we are also, clicker, see if I can do that. So we are also implementing support for regular expressions. That's already in a prototype stage, and that's something that a lot of customers have asked us for. So hopefully you're excited about that. We also plan to remove some of the time and effort that's associated with diagnosing deadlock exceptions specifically. And we'll do a review of our diagnostic logs so that we can build out a backlog of logging improvements. And then, of course, we'll continue to make the IDE easier, user experience improvements, largely based on feedback and requests from you. And in case anyone is interested, I believe there's a plan to share these slides out so you don't have to memorize all of it. And it'll change a little bit over time, so we'll continue to communicate that to you. One of the things that we'll do to ensure that your systems are secure is undertake a full review of all aspects of security. So we'll do a security audit. If we identify vulnerabilities or functional gaps in the platform, then we might choose to address those. And then we're also working on a project that we call end-to-end SSL. So really what we want to do is review and extend useful encryption via SSL in all JADE-to-JADE connections. We don't have it all throughout the system today, but we will look at extending SSL to more connections in JADE. And last but not least, there's a big long list of performance. It's always one of our key themes. We have a lot of potential candidates for improving performance, including cache management, collection structures, concurrency improvements and persistent memory technology. We haven't made hard and fast decisions on what we'll do in JADE 2020, but we have a nice long list of things that we think will make a difference from a performance perspective. So I can't really say this enough, but please do communicate with us about what you're working on, what's important to you. Add your votes, add your ideas, talk with us today. Let us know if you want to talk with us after today about what you're working on and how JADE can help you. If you have questions about upgrades, then of course reach out to our support team. But wait, there's more. So this is, so far I've covered what we did in 2018, covered a little bit about what we're thinking about for 2020. In addition to new features and functionality that you get delivered in new versions, we've also taken on some initiatives or projects that will help you develop, help you manage your systems, train your developers, and communicate with us more effectively. And we just want to make sure that you're aware of all of these great things in addition to learning about what's coming out in the next release. So one thing to be aware of if you're not already is the JADE Software NZ GitHub site. So this is primarily focused on helping new JADE developers get started quickly. Right? So there are example schemas, demos, and because they're on GitHub, you can add comments and you can contribute. So there are currently 5 repositories with example schemas and documentation, and we'll keep adding more over time. One of the things that we've added recently is a schema and documentation for the automated test code generator. So this will allow you to record and replay GUI actions in JADE, something that lots of people in the room might be interested in. Tim and team are here to give you more detail about that, but that's the most recent addition to our GitHub site. We have also been developing a number of extension training modules to help developers tackle specific topics. So you can think about this kind of a step beyond our 1-week developer course, more of an easily accessible, on-demand, topic-specific kind of training. These will be available from the website. Some of the topics that already have content written include multi-threading, XML in JADE, RPS module, internationalization, and I think there are probably a good, 10 more or so. I'm looking at Tim because he's done most of the work on these. So a nice long list. We haven't made them available on the website yet, but of course we'll announce that when we do, and this is something that you can look for to help get more out of your system or help train people who are trying to accomplish specific things or learn specific things about JADE. And finally, we will be introducing a new JADE community platform. So this will be a replacement for the JEDI platform that you know today. So we'll move all of your feature requests over into a new platform. This will give us a new, improved user interface for interacting with you. Also, the new platform integrates with our backend systems that we use to communicate and manage JADE development. So we'll have a more efficient round trip and a better way to get your requests into our development workflows. So keep an eye out for that because you probably will get an email from us letting you know there's a new URL and a new place to go for interacting with us around your feature requests and community forums. So we are excited to keep supporting you with new features and releases. We're looking forward to hearing more from you about what you need, what you're working on, what is going to make the biggest difference in your life with JADE. I'll now invite Hugh and John up here to help answer any questions. We probably have about 5 minutes for questions. And then, of course, we have 30 minutes later today where you can get into more detail. So, any questions or comments on the roadmap or on JADE 2018? Uh-oh, we're going to need a speaker person. Shane, can you come stand up? Thanks.
What will your security audit be against?
What we're going to do is get an external security expert to look at possible weaknesses in a JADE application from end to end, and that means also how you're using the JADE application and how you're implementing it.
Will you be looking at the standards in this area that cover security already?
probably do something like threat modelling, that sort of stuff. There's known functional gaps as well that we know about, so we'll be addressing those. And certainly not doing it all ourselves. It's the focus of the independent security review.
Is there anything in particular that
I will ask for the Australian Tax Office, which you don't comply with.
All right, I saw a few more hands up. Or did everyone have the same question?
So there was a slide that was shown around SSL, and I'm not that's my area, but I'm assuming that meant TLS actually. Is that correct? Yeah. Because SSL 3, I think it was Poodle, has proven that's insecure. As I said, it's not really my area, but I know that being a bank, we definitely had to move everything off SSL. It's not secure, so I'm assuming that slide should have been TLS.
There is a item on our roadmap addressing that. It's a matter of prioritising. There's quite a lot of security-related features. So there's those, plus the outcomes of the security review. Once we know what that backlog is, prioritise it and do it. That's the approach.
More questions?
It's actually you that said it before that it currently isn't a service pack for 2018. Is that because overall people are using it?
Well, it's only been out since December, so no, there's not a plan for a service pack at all. If you look at 2016, we only did one service pack, and that was only when we got to a stage where we felt there was enough patches that were relevant that we should put a service pack out. And again, we'll do the same with 2018, as and when required.
So how many managed environments have you got in 2018?
How many managed environments? There's probably a question for Martin.
Internally managed by us, we've got 6. Because it takes a while for production systems to move up through UAT, development of UAT and growth.
The JEDI platform was sort of a great on-ramp for getting feedback from the community. Tell us a bit more about when and what the new version will be.
Yeah. Do you hope for that one?
All right. Thank you, John.
Short answer, maybe that's my first assignment.
So currently the JEDI platform, some of you may be aware, is implemented on top of some software we developed in-house to support our innovation program we ran a few years ago. We're not in the business of building product suggestion software, and so the product management software that Ashley alluded to that we're using to run our product management for Jade and all our other products is a product called AHA, cutesy name, and as part of that product there's a built-in customer suggestion platform which is superior to what we developed ourselves and supported and maintained into the future. So we're transitioning across to that. It's got a better UI. A lot of the suggestions we've had for improvement to our platform are already in the AHA platform. There's no feature that's going to go, there's nowhere it's going to go backwards. It's better in every respect. And we're ready to pull the plug on it. It's just a matter of getting the communications organised, basically. It is up and running. We've got the conversion process ironed out to get the stuff from JEDI into the new platform. We've just got to get, when I say we, I mean me, I've just got to get a day where we can actually get our act together and get it all done, and then get the marketing message out to tell you the new URL and stuff, shut down the old site. But you'll love it, it's much better, and it will actually then flow through. So a suggestion in the new JEDI platform will be able to flow through to product management and then to JIRA automatically, which is pretty cool. Yep, we've tested it, and you'll also be able to see better statuses of what's happening with the suggestions.
You can run queries over that new interface, so you can find and group. Because the biggest problem with the JADE at the moment is actually checking what's.
Yeah, so it has much better search and exactly what you're saying. Yes.
Search and filtering capability.
Yeah.
Time for one more. If there's one more question, or if there are not, then if you think of anything over the next few presentations, write it down. We have a half hour at the end of the day. Anything critical?
In relation to one of the JEDI's ideas that were submitted a while ago, was closed because it was considered to be too big. It was about implementing the ability to create extensions for the Jade IDE or plugins, which could be, or one implementation or an idea would be for source control, but it could be used for all sorts of things. I've got one of the problems that we had recently that I could give an example, but how does the Jade plant feel about that sort of thing now?
Well, we did review the idea of providing the idea in a more open way so that people could do extensions on that, but we felt there was a lot of underlying work that we had to do first before that was enabled. And in terms of our priority, it didn't seem to be up there as a major priority, which is why we didn't pursue it at that stage. But there's always the opportunity for you to put in new suggestions on different angles, and the next time it might be more successful, who knows.